I am 52 years old and I am a high school English teacher and yoga instructor. Last month in March of 2020, I was diagnosed with a mild case of the coronavirus, and my doctor told me to try to move around as much as possible. Well, the virus causes extreme fatigue, and some people get severe breathing difficulties. I did not, thank goodness, but my chest did feel tight. So I went back to what I know how to do, which is yoga and breath work, and put together a series that helped me in my recovery. Hopefully it can help some other people. These are really basic yoga poses that I modified so that I was able to do them in bed when I was really weak, and then able to go onto my mat when I got a little bit stronger. These are poses that pretty much anybody can do. You may need you may have to do it a slightly different way, and I'll show you a couple of different ways that might work for you. The first one is an easy sit position where you just sit crisscross applesauce like little kids. You can do that. You can do this in the bed. That's where I did it. I would just sit up straight. If you're actually in a hospital setting, then you can set the bed up. The idea is to be sitting straight up with your ears over your shoulders over your hips. You don't want to lean forward. You don't want to lean back. You want to be balanced right on what's called your sit bones, and sit up as straight as possible. Imagine yourself as a marionette with the string going up your spine and pulling you up straight. Some people find that if for example, if you're in the hospital and you're having trouble leaning forward because you're in a bed, you can ask someone to put a blanket behind your back. You can put a blanket to kind of tip you forward to the right position, or you can also take that same folded up blanket and put it up underneath your hips like so, and that puts a little bit less strain on your hips. But when I was in bed and I was sick, my hips got really tight from lying in the bed, and so I did like to sit up and sit cross-legged so that I could stretch my hips out some, and it helped quite a bit. Okay, so you're going to sit up straight and tall. Your ears are going to be over your shoulders. Sit up as straight as you can. Imagine a string going up your spine and going up toward the ceiling. And take your right hand, put it on your heart. Your left hand goes on your diaphragm, and as you inhale, be conscious of your breath moving through your body. You're going to do about 10 breaths like that. Just in as deep as you can without coughing. If you cough a little bit, then that's okay. But if it makes you cough too much, like it did me a couple of times, then just back off of it for right then. But the idea is to get as much breath in as you can, and try to make it. The reason you've got your hand on your belly is so that you can feel that the breath is going there. A lot of times, women especially, we tend to draw our diaphragm in when we're breathing rather than letting it out, because we don't want to look like we've got a big belly. Let that belly come out. Put your hand on your heart, hand on your belly. And just breathe. If you find yourself leaning forward a little bit, then just gently put yourself back in position. Same as if you find yourself leaning backwards just a little bit. Put yourself in position. Roll your shoulders back. Relax your jaw. Close your eyes. It doesn't really matter for the purpose of what we're doing here, whether you want to inhale from your mouth or from your nose. I alternated back and forth. They both will work fine. The next thing that you can do, and you can do this one while still sitting up in the bed, like you're doing here, but I'm going to turn sideways so you can see a little better what I'm doing. This is called cat-cow. And for this one, you'll sit cross-legged, but this is a seated cat-cow. You can sit cross-legged, or you can sit, in whatever position is comfortable for you. But when you're sitting, make sure you're sitting upright. Draw your shoulders back without being sway back. Draw your shoulders back and then down to relax your shoulders. And then as you inhale, your belly is going to go back and your shoulders are going to go back, and you raise your head up for cow. And then as you exhale, curve your back. Draw your belly button into your spine for cat. The goal is to move with your breath. Okay, you can also do this if you're able. You can do this on all fours with your arms up underneath your underneath your shoulders. Your knees are about hip distance apart, and as you inhale, drop your belly. Your hips go up, and then as you exhale, push away from the floor with your hands. This works really well for people who are a little stiff, but you're also moving with your breath. Okay, the next pose, and this is one I did quite a bit, is Sphinx pose. And I'm going to show you several different ways to do this, because you're going to be on your belly, and this is a little bit of a back bend like we were just doing with cat-cow, but I don't want you to focus on how high you're going up or anything like that. It's just about opening the chest. All of these are about opening the chest and adding some breath and movement to our bodies as we heal. So to do a Sphinx pose, you'll start on your belly, and your hands, your arms and shoulders are at a 90-degree angle, and as you inhale, you're lifting up. As you energetically draw your hands back, my hands are not moving, but I'm pulling them back, and my forearms are supporting the weight of my body, but also I'm using some core muscles in my back and shoulders to hold me up. And then when you get tired, you can lower back down. It's not about hurting yourself or stretching too far. It's just about trying to add that movement and breath. If you can't breathe while you're in this position, you are up too far and you need to lower down just a little bit. This is not about trying to prove anything to anybody. This is just about adding movement. Okay, another thing that I did a lot that felt amazing was, again, my hips got really tight while I was sleeping. I tended to sleep about 20 hours a day for a couple of days. So my hips and all got really tight. So what you can do is take your leg out to the side, but keep your belly and hips, pubic bone, all pressed down to the bed or to the floor. Your arm on the same side as your bent leg stays in the regular position, but your other forearm is going to be across your body to support your weight. And again, you're pushing up while pushing down into your pubic bone and drawing your shoulders back for that back bend and chest opener. Don't strain yourself. Got to be able to breathe. and do 3 to 5 breaths on this side, and then you'll switch to the other side for the same thing. Try to keep that hip and thigh, inner thigh down flat. Don't let it rise up. Okay, if this isn't working for you, if you can't do it, you can also use that same rolled up blanket up underneath your, this is right at the base of my ribs to help support me. And it just gives a little bit of extra support to help push yourself up, to hold yourself up. This is about opening up the chest, remember. And you can also add in the half frog. This is called Sphinx with a half frog, because your leg looks like a frog leg when you're doing this. But anyway, it's a really good hip opener, really good chest opener. There's one other way that you can do the same pose standing up against the wall with your arms flat like this, and you're just arching your back. So you're leaning against the wall, your feet are up against the wall, and then you just lean back to arch your back for those breaths, and then you can go forward. So if you have a little bit more mobility, or if you've gotten up to walk around a little bit, then you can press up against the wall and use it to steady yourself as you're doing it. Don't push yourself too hard, but do try to incorporate some movement and some breath into your recovery. I was in pretty good shape. My cardiovascular health was good. I'm a runner, and I practice yoga. I follow a healthy diet most of the time. I still eat ice cream and chips and salsa because life is not worth living without chips and salsa, and I can't wait for my first night out with some Mexican food. But even though I had what was considered a very mild case of corona, it took me, I'm still not 100%. So I'm a month out from my diagnosis, and I'm still not at 100%. I did not have to get admitted to the hospital, so don't beat yourself up too much. Do what you can do. And I say this as someone who beat herself up because I couldn't do what I wanted to do. I got very angry because I couldn't do what I wanted to do. But as I'm on my way to recovery now, it takes time. I'm still not at 100%. I still get tired fast, a lot faster than I did before I was sick. And I've learned to adapt what I'm going to do. So, and you will too, and you will recover. Just do what you need to do, incorporate some movement, and eat healthy, drink water, do whatever your doctors are telling you to do. But the most important thing is to just remember to breathe. I don't think very many of us who've had this virus are going to take our breath for granted anymore. So if there's anything else I can do to help, I'll be happy to. You just let me know. Thanks.